It is finally time. I have been so excited for Edge of Eternities to come out. I have 9 decks built and ready to go. I have like 5 more that are still like works in progress. I feel like this is probably going to be enough for at least this week. I have wait, hold on. I think one got maybe imported twice. Yeah, so I've got I have 2 different blue-white Quantum Riddler lists. I think that there's a lot of ways you could build this. You could build an Esper, you could build a Jeskai, you could build a Bant, you could build a blue-white. And you can build it like more controlling, more mid-range, more aggressive. There's like lots of different combinations, and I want to stress to you that it's going to take some time to figure out the best combination. I think Quantum Riddler is really good. I think a lot of these cards in the set are really, really good. You can still check out the YouTube video and get my initial impression that we're playing them live for the first time here. I wanted to start with this build today compared to... So I guess I'll show this one because we're not playing it. Does that make sense? But I had to build those a bit more in on Warp and Flickering, so we're playing Starfield Shepherd to tutor up the energy cards, tutor up Mockingbird, playing Phelia, All Fate Stalker, just very, very in on the Warp Creature plus Ephemerate plus Phelia. And we will still do this, but I started to become kind of enchanted with this build instead. One, because you get to play a lot more interaction for combo decks, and so I'm a bit worried that builds like this are going to be a bit too dirtily against linear strategies. This one gets to play a lot of counter magic. But I'm really interested in this specifically. Just your ability to, like, on turn 2, hold up 2 mana, and you could have Solitude Ephemerate, you could have Spell Snare, you could have Counterspell, you could have Consult the Star Charts, you could have Phelia up. It's just like, you just have a lot of different cheap 2-mana instant cards you could be representing when you hold up 2 mana. I think that that's kind of interesting. And I'm also pretty interested in the fact that Consult the Star Charts, in theory, will let you, like, have redundancy to set up your 2-card combo of Solitude Ephemerate or Quantum Riddler Ephemerate. This build is certainly much less of a Phelia build. We've got, like, this is our only warp creature in this one. So I wanted to be more in on the instance on treating Quantum Riddler into play. I guess for those of you who don't know, this is a 5-mana 4/6 with the ability Warp, and it says whenever it enters, draw a card, and as long as you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand, you draw that many cards plus 1. I think this card is crazy. You get to, it's kind of like Black Overlord, where you get to scam it with Ephemerate instead of Flicker Wisp, which is really, really nice. It has better stats and lets you play a lot of cheap counterspells, free counterspells. That is really nice on a card advantage engine like Quantum Riddler. I think its ETB effect is also going to draw you 2 cards more often than you think, especially when you have so many pitch spells. And I also think this card is just going to be good to draw. It's incredible to top deck. Incredible card to top deck, especially in the late game. I think there's a good chance that this card ends up just playing as a good card advantage spell beyond the broken synergies, kind of like Black Overlord too. So we got a lot of decks to get into. Well, let's jump in. They're brewing with the new lands, not yet. Not yet. They're not super high on my to-do list. Well, we have the combo. Let's keep hoping to find a blue card maybe for the Force. That counts. Always good to have the card right away, huh? So they start off by cycling a Street Wraith. I'm a little bit worried about a Thoughtseize. Hoping they do anything else. Hopefully they bobble themselves. They do bobble themselves, which makes it not that likely they're going to cast the Thoughtseize. They would have targeted me, right? You're not going to Force of Negation that, although I'm a little bit worried we're about to get Hollow Wand. They discarded Detective's Phoenix, and they don't have a Hollow Wand. That's obviously a big deal. But I do think the portal is going to be pretty interesting. So they are just passing. Does it mean they have a Bowmaster? Hoping that they have, like, Tarfire or something I get to force right now. So if they don't have another one. Fatal Push is kind of weird. Okay, double push, pretty bad. So hopefully we draw lands, so this draws 2. Okay, we draw another Quantum Riddler. So draw a card. Draw Snare. Second Fatal Push. Big bummer. So to try Phelia mono white build with Angel and mono white Overlord, and your most hated card, Aether Vial. Maybe also try Caretaker Shell, Cosmic Grand Zenith. That does sound pretty interesting. There's so much to do. It's going to be a very, very busy season. I'm super excited. Final Fantasy ended up being like relatively minor in the context of Modern, and I'm excited for some more action. All right. Opponent is untapped. Jerry, the 27 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Opponent plays a FOMO. Unfortunately, I don't have the mana up to Spell Snare it. They discard a Bloodstained Mire. They've got 4 cards left in their hand. They play a Mishra's Bauble. They play the Verdant Catacombs. Probably going to end up bestowing onto the FOMO, right? They don't bestow, which is a bit weird. I really want to draw a land so I can Prismatic Ending and hold up the Snare. Awesome. And then if we do get to Snare, then we get to draw 2 cards off of our Quantum Riddler. I'm really optimistic that Quantum Riddler is just going to be a really good card, even when you're not cheating it into play, but we'll see. Was the blue Overlord not in consideration? No, that card 1 is not that strong. There's plenty of warp cards that play better, and it doesn't work with Ephemerate like these do. That's kind of the big thing, is working with Ephemerate. So it looks like they're going for the Phoenix now. Kind of a little disappointed to see them not really playing into the Snare, I guess. I don't know what Garruk's Uprising is. I do think that there's some Birthing Ritual stuff with Quantum Riddler and these kind of things, but it's very difficult to chew on that. It's definitely one of those kind of ideas that plays way better in theory than in practice, I think. All right, pretty painful. I'm going to go ahead and shock this in. We get to draw 2 cards off the Riddler. I'd love to find an Ephemerate or a Cloudshift. So we just find a Force of Negation. So the good news is I can Force of Negation this Detective's Phoenix if that's all they're doing next turn, and then I can draw 2 cards off of my next Quantum Riddler. I was wondering why you sounded very far away. Then I saw your deck was lowering. What would you recommend getting a standing desk? You work from home. As someone who's pretty tall, I really recommend it. Your results may vary, of course, but for me, I have my legs get all cramped if I'm not standing regularly. It's also healthier too. Roro with the 5-pack. Thank you so much. So they're Phoenixing. I'm gonna force, and then we're gonna take 5 down to 7. Maybe can stabilize. I guess I should have let them finish their Surveil first. Have you thought about Team or Battlecry stuff with Quantum Riddler, like warp stuff up to the 4 power count? That's not the problem with that deck, I guess, but I also wouldn't say I have put much thought into it. Okay, Quantum Riddler. We might lose this game, but I don't know. We're drawing a lot of cards off of them, and this kind of just does not feel like a bad place to be. Just cast it, draw 2 for 2 mana, then cast it for 5, draw 2, and then get a 4/6 flyer. They cast a Phoenix. I can block and go to 1, but I don't get to kill the Channeler, which is a problem. If I find a Solitude, obviously we're laughing all the way to the bank. So I guess we attack and then Ephemerate. So I can bounce 1. Seems like I'm going to die. Can cast this for the first time, although I just don't have a white card to get even if I do find the Solitude. I could Prismatic Ending one of these, still take 2. Alright, close to stabilizing. Them having double push on that one turn was pretty tough. Maybe I could have just not cast the Phelia. I'm going to bring in 3 copies of Rest in Peace. Don't want the Deafening Silence. Force of Negation, I think, is coming out. I don't know about these subtleties. Counterspell seems a little slow. Let me cut this. I think I don't like the Skyclaves on the play so much. I'm gonna bring in. I think I want like a good amount of pitch spells. Let's go pretty in on subtlety actually. I'm gonna trim a consults and click spit snare. No, snare should be pretty good against them. They should have at least Bowmaster and FOMO. That's like enough for 3 snare. They may also have like Goblin Lore. Yeah, shocking off the fountain was pretty costly, but I mean, I was drawing 2 cards, and I wanted to have all the mana available to me. We might have one if I just had to play the fountain tap, though. What about a couple of rips on the side? Rest in peace on the sideboard? Good idea. I beat this deck in best of 3 with Modern living in like FNM, or where'd you get to play Modern with the new cards? Been working on the Riddler Battlecry thing. As far as I can tell, Riddler plays extremely well with all of Trailblazer, Fnatic, Metamorph. You know what? I didn't think about Riddler plus Fnatic Erroneous. That might be more of like the birthing ritual shell. There's just like Quantum Riddler, like it's crazy because it works well with so many good modern cards, and it's also just really good by itself. I think it's kind of an unbelievable card, and it's coming to modern in a time where there isn't like a clear de facto best card draw spell, and I think it just is it. I don't talk about card prices. Here's my one advice on card prices. You will be happier if you purchase cards only when you need them. Are you playing a tournament and you need to purchase cards for the tournament and buy cards for that, trade cards, borrow them, acquire them, however you got to acquire them? Are you not playing in a modern tournament? Don't buy Magic cards. Buy flowers for a loved one. Buy my cryptocurrency scam. I mean, opportunity. What if your loved one prefers Magic cards? You might need to find a new loved one. Respects recent comments removed from the WCC program. I don't know what that is. Alright. Untapped Blood Crypt. Hopefully they play a creature I can Prismatic Ending and then hold up the snare. Yeah, and we draw Quantum Riddler. Let's go. Wizards Consecrator. Oh, I'm not in that program. I'm on the Daybreak thing. All right, pretty good turn 2. Let's see if we can find Rest in Peace. Graveyard another land here. Ephemerate would be good. All right, pretty flooded. They play 2 drops. Yeah, they should have 4 FOMO, 4 Bowmaster. They might also have Goblin Lore. Jeremy with the 3 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Hopefully we draw our Rest in Peace. Does seem like we're gonna lose to Mana Flood. Okay, they also have Persist in their deck. Holy guacamole, is Rest in Peace good against them? Maybe we should have mulligan to it. I think our 7-card keep was fine with us getting to play the Surveil land turn 1. Drawing like 2 lands when you keep the 5-lander and get to Surveil twice is a little unlucky. But maybe we'll just rip Rest in Peace and win easily. I think I figured it out. 1-mana warp cards will be busted, 2-mana warp cards will be okay. Well, there's only one good 1-mana warp card, so we'll see. I think you know we're in game 2 of the day. I think it's a bit early for anyone to confidently say they figured it out. Maybe we could consult the star charts into Rest in Peace. A Counterspell. Well, gonna take 7 down to 4, and then fetch down to 3. Yeah, screw into Flood first match. Spike, I'm not so sure about this new card. They cycle a Troll of Khazad-dûm. They get a Blood Crypt, which they play untapped, maybe to flashback a Looting. Don't always want to counter Thoughtseize when it's your only card in hand, but I think we might as well pretend like we have something else. All right, let's go to this. Let's keep it moving. We're gonna die even if we top deck Rest in Peace. Right. The draw. Let's draw better. Hand is kind of mid. We're on the draw. I think I'm gonna click the mulligan button. Maybe a little greedy. Okay, well, I really like this hand. If we can draw a land, we also have a Surveil. We're on the draw. Let's go and keep this. Let's put back the Consult. Oh, sorry, I should have put back a Force because I just pitched the Consult to Force. Probably won't be the biggest difference. So they play a Scalding Tarn and they pass. They have a lovely upkeep stop for me here. Just put that up there real quick. Do you lose sleep at night knowing if you went to WotC for 8 weeks, you could have saved us from Reaching the Timeline? I don't know that I would have, you know. I don't know that I would have had the power of. I don't know that I would have had the knowledge to. I like to think that things would have been different, but I like to let bygones be bygones. Right, they hit 2 rituals off of their impulse. Right, now that I know that they're not going to be able to disrupt the Phelia, probably we'll just not play too scared. How do you feel about the warp cards will be with Birthing Ritual? I definitely think that there's something to the idea of that, but I'm not sure exactly what, I guess. Could be right to force the first ritual here. It's pretty bad if they have Ral. I'm going to force this one. Alright, so let's see what we draw off this. Alright, we're going to try to Surveil into a blue card. There we go. Also always nice when you're testing cards for the first time and they're not bugged. I would really like to play another Quantum Riddler this next turn, so let's try to let things go here. Although probably forcing the next thing. Yeah, I gotta force that. Also, we get to draw 2 cards off the next Quantum Riddler flicker. Just kind of a big elvish visionary. That is, you know, I said this in my my YouTube video that modern players really hate to like think that stats on creatures matter. But a 4/6 flyer that you cheat into play is really good, and the format is just not equipped to handle it. But just a big Elvish Visionary. Like, imagine if Elvish Visionary was a 4/6 flyer. What would your attitude about that be? Well, untap Sacred Foundry. Hopefully this is just a draw 2, I guess. Manamorphose, wow. Kind of matters when you never attack them with it. We'll attack them with it. Okay, they hit the Opera Love Song. They have already played their land this turn. Okay, so let's keep that on top. Would you say Riddler is better than Black Overlord? I did say that in my YouTube video, yeah. I think it has better stats, is enabled with better cards, and is a better color. Yeah, so we can attack them and kill them with it next turn, but we might as well draw 2 more cards this turn, I think. Unless, actually, putting them to 3 with them having this, it makes Ral like way worse, so I don't really need anything else besides the Snare. Yeah, you might want to play both. Like an Esper with both certainly could be good. Okay, so we're gonna bring in the Deafening Silence, the extra Force of Negation. I don't know if I want the full set of Rest in Peace or not. I know that I'm interested in cutting the Subtlety. I think I'd like to. Skyclave are not bad. We could play 1. I think we could cut a Cloudshift. I think I want probably maybe 2 Solitude for Pending for Ral. And play 2 Rest in Peace. Wear Tear is also kind of good because they play the class. I think I've got enough answers for that without playing this. I can't believe we're playing Cloudshift over Essence Flux when Flux can make our Skyclaves bigger. I don't know. I think it'd probably be more about white versus black card. There's also Guess we should mulligan no blue mana. There's also how do I want to put this? The 2-mana flicker, momentary blink. That one might be better because it flashes back. I'm not sure. 1 subtlety. And wait, there was a subtlety still in? Oh, whoops. Okay. Not gonna be the biggest deal probably. I think I'll play the Deafening Silence turn 1. This is really good if they have Static Prison, and then we just like make them waste it, basically, because we'll stop them with this. Now, this is the first deck. We had to start at noon today. This is only our second match. Got kind of flooded into Screw, or Screw into Flooded, round 1. TW with the 57 months. Thank you. Welcome back. All right, there's a Ruby. Yeah, I agree that you want the 1 mana blink instead, which is why I went with the Cloudshift as the extra one, but hard to say 100%, I guess. Don't think we fire off the Consult there. Just try to turn it to at least a Deluge. They might play the instant speed draw 2 card. Yeah, I think now one thing I generally recommend, I think I'm gonna use a counterspell for mana efficiency actually, is in these kind of spots to not let them just burn their cards, and then you just have when all you have are counterspells, like just trading them for cantrips is fine because you want to grind them down to low resources instead of just doing nothing with your mana while they overwhelm you with like hitting all their land drops and keeping their hand full, and then they're just ready to go off. Yeah, let that one go, I think, because you don't want to have 0 counter spells, of course. I don't think I'm dying to hit a land here. We'll just pass. They could resolve a Ral here. They don't have one, it seems. Seems like they have something. Wear Terror? Deafening Silence or Orbs Chant? I would love if they Orms chanted me here. All right, let's pass. Like it could be Wear Tear, and we could counter at end of turn. I think it's more likely to be Orms chant. I really want this to be a Memory Deluge, though. I think I'm trying to sandbag that. I think I'm down to counter this. Okay, Valak Awakening. Another Ruby. Can't play another non-creature spell this turn. Alright, I'll try to hit a land. It's a lot of turns in a row missing our land drop, and we still miss. It's like 9 cards in a row, no land? Maybe 8? Should still be fine. They reveal a Ral and an Orms chant. So they could use the chant to resolve the Ral and then just pass. Playing Deafening Silence, by the way, over High Noon so that you can go Quantum Riddler plus Ephemerate all in one turn through this. There we go. I think I'll just go ahead and warp the Riddler. We could evoke the Solitude just to cycle. That'd be kind of weird. I think unnecessary. I do think that their hand is Orm's Chant and then 2 mystery cards. They play a land and then they pass. Find a Phelia. I'll say so far Riddler has been pretty good to just draw. Even when we haven't scammed it. We have scammed it once so far. So land or a blue card are both pretty good. Nice. might kick the Orm's Chant here. The fact that you could just cast this after you warp it is kind of unbelievable. Like, we're coming from Final Fantasy, which just had this mechanic that was like adventure, but you only can cast one of the cards, and then we just go to like super duper adventure. It's very weird. So they do kick the chant. Good to get it out of their hand. We are kind of shields down. Like, obviously we might get the Fatal Push at Ral, but yeah. So far it's been basically worse Overlord. I honestly cannot believe that you walked away from these matches with that impression. That it's been basically a worse Overlord. Like, if you to say that it was 2 matches, I would encourage you to not write it off. As for, I guess, being blue, something, yeah, like it being blue is a huge deal for a card advantage engine in this format. It's like, that's a huge part of the reason why I'm really excited about it. But also the stats were already more relevant this league too. I'm gonna keep this on 7 on the draw. I think it's also been like better to just cast. Like we cast it, we cycled it early, which is something you can do with Overlord, or sometimes it just bricks. We cast it and drew 2, and then hard cast it, drew 2 more. It's like it comes online faster too. It's like it's you do have to spend 5 mana when you play it, as opposed to just let the counters tick down. But it's more flexible, so you could like warp it on turn 4, then cast it turn 5, or just cast it turn 5. I guess you could do that with Overlord too. But assuming you warp it to cast on 5, it comes active a turn sooner. Edel with the 31 months. Thank you. Welcome back. It was probably slightly worse against Black-Red. Finding Solitude that second game would have done it. I mean, we don't know that we would have found a Solitude off of it. I agree, if we had found Solitude, it would have been better. We get to play against Black-White here. So Force of Negations aren't going to be too good, though. Doesn't trigger on attack is a big difference. That is true. That is a big difference, for sure. Maybe Mardu? The Graveyard of Mire. Yeah, you could do Esper with, Riddler of Accoutrements. That sounds really good. There's so many ways to build it. I just want y'all to keep your hearts open, you know. Do you think the Sphinx would be better than Null Drifter in Zoo Scam? Probably. There was another card I think you can play in Zoo. I can't remember which one it was, though. Let's just chill here, I think. My opponent clearly has a handful of removals, not just run into it. Elk with the 27 months. Hope you're doing well, my friend. It'd be silly to try to build Artifact Riddler where you vomit your hand and keep drawing with baubles and Thoughtcast with Riddler. I don't think that's ridiculous at all, no. I might look for a Snare or an Ephemerate off the Consult. I think instead I'm gonna make them commit something onto the board and then maybe try to deluge with this. Or maybe I want to bounce something. If I bounce the Phelia, that might end up working better. They mill this Flage, that's kind of bad. They grab a backup Phelia. So I guess we can kind of keep them Phelia flooded here. No, you cannot Force of Negation to suspend Overlord. I could Witch Enchanter the Overlord, though. I think that's fine. Like, the longer you wait on the Consult, the better it is, of course. Slinger with the 40 again. Thank you so much. I think I'm lower and everyone else in Consult seems worse at 2 mana than other options, and seems worse at 4 mana than other options. Well, it's actually exactly the same as Memory Deluge at 4 mana, which is a card that people play a lot. And then it's also like the fact that you can cast it at 2 mana compared to not being able to cast it at 2 mana like Stock Up or Deluge is huge, I think. 1 spot Flicker Wisp ever use? Yeah, but the thing about Flicker Wisp too is it's like, take yourself off a land in these spots because it's always a little awkward, but yeah, it would be fine. Okay, so they flicker my Witch Enchanter. So they're probably not escaping the Flage, right? Because you'd think they'd want to kill the thing. So they're holding up Solitude. Sure. I think I'm gonna kick the Consults. Maybe I could. No, I think I want to Deluge. Oh, whoops. Deluge without flashback would never have been considered playable. To say never is like a little hyperbolic. In Modern, you don't flash it back all that often. But it's certainly you can see that this card has many upsides beyond just the flashback, right? All right, probably taking Quantum Riddler Plains here. Why main phase? Hit the land drop. Might not be that important, but we can also hit like land, Ephemerate. Okay, I'm happy enough to force here so that I can go low on cards for the Quantum Riddler. I might go like cast Skyclave Warp so I can get max cards out of this. Will I play Wreck with Consult? Yeah, at some point. Yeah, putting on a Scepter seems good. No one plays Deluge. Deluge was like a big Modern staple before the One Ring. It was widely considered to be the best card advantage spell in Control, and then the Ring got printed, and people haven't gone back to it. Stock Up has largely replaced it, but for a long time, Memory Deluge was a Modern card. Not really arguable. So I think I'm waiting a little bit so that I can try to save the Solitude for the Flage. It's weird that they're not committing the Flage at all. It might have been fine to just evoke and then warp. So they're gonna Flage my Skyclave, they're gonna make a 2/2. Do we think they have a Fatal Push? I might want to play my Phelia. The Foundries for Prismatic Ending and Sideboard Wear Tear. Yeah, I think I'm going to play this out with the thinking that I can find a white card, and maybe I can also find an Ephemerate off the Quantum Riddler. I also kind of need to get rid of the Phelia anyways. So they have 3 cards left in their hand. Let's see what we draw. All right, I'm going to go Warp first. Draw 2. Interesting. So I could go Evoke Solitude and then just cast this Quantum Riddler. I could also just hard cast Solitude and play this slower. Both seem pretty reasonable to me. I'm going for the Evoke and then hard cast on the Riddler. Okay, but why block and not cast Solitude and blink with Phelia? So I could do this. Warp hold priority. Well, Warp doesn't sack till end of turn, so you don't need to hold priority. Oh, you want to Warp with this and just hope to find an Ephemerate. I think that that's worse than just having a 4/6 flyer with this being ready to cast next turn. Oh yeah, we get to draw 3. That's right. I forgot that they stack like this. Cool. Yeah, so I could, but yeah, doesn't this seem better than like trying to flicker? Also, if they have Fatal Push, like they probably would have pushed before blocks, I guess. So maybe that's not that big of a deal. Yeah, we don't get this one until next turn, though. Yeah, but like this card is good even when you're not scamming it, and you can scam it. It's pretty crazy. All right, so I'm going to 5 here. Maybe we get like double bolted or something, or like we could stop Flage Ephemerate. If they have Flage, they might want to kill my Riddler. 4 mana. 4 damage to any target. Well, I've never seen that card in Modern. It's not looking too bad. Good chance they have another Phelia, and I can go like Snare and hardcast Solitude and then refill with one of these. Yeah, the number of pitch cards is kind of tough. It's gonna be metagame dependent too, but you could definitely run more than what we're running. So they didn't have the Phelia. Let's go to use our Snare here. So this is going to put me to 1 potentially. I can't consult and hardcast the Solitude. I could kick the consult and look for Solitude, white card Ephemerate. What's about Wisp? I mean, Wisp always obviously works with the Overlords better than the Warp creatures. I think I'm going to Solitude the Flicker Wisp and then block the token. You got a Solitude now. Well, I think that's my plan, yeah. And then I'm going to go to 4. Yeah, you can also just look for Counterspell off the Consult. We have 4 of those, so, or 3 more of those. So there's definitely a lot of options. All right, so block here, have to block here, and then we go up to 8, then down to 4. And if their last card is Ephemerate, we can Force of Negation. Maybe Red Overlord's good. It's interesting. Shouldn't you wait until declare attackers? I guess so. All right, let's cast the Consult. Look at the top 8. Yeah, I guess I do only have 1 Solitude left in the deck, huh? Maybe this was a miscalc. Maybe I'll just find it. Maybe they have an Ephemerate as their last card. Not worth kicking. No, we need to be able to hardcast the Solitude, I think. Or like draw, dig deeper. We also have this to like refill our hand if we if the game goes longer. Yeah, I guess we miscalculated here. I'm gonna Ephemerate now, so I get to draw 3 cards. Right, down a game against Marduk. I think we could have played better. It's probably at least the first Rest in Peace against the Flages. I think the Subtleties are obviously way better than the Force of Negations. Losing the Red Overlord is pretty cool. I don't think the Skyclaves are great. Let's do 1 Skyclave, 1 Rest in Peace. Maybe we want to play like 1 Consign. They'll play 1 Consign at least. We could try cutting the Phelias actually. Cutting Phelia, I kind of like maybe just we're like way better against the removal. Oh, I didn't mean to cut the Sync. Oops. So 2 Rip, 2 Consign. Maybe 3-1. Did you see yourself get caught up by the Professor? No, I didn't. What did the Professor have to say? This hand's really close. It's obviously like mostly dying to draw lands. If we do, we're in good shape. We have 23 lands to draw into. I think white ones are good too. All right, so we have. Oh no, the calculator's broken. Or it says they blocked my access. That's kind of weird. Okay, just using a regular one. Population size 53, successes 22, sample size 2. Wait, number of successes, success in sample 1. We are greater than or equal 83% to hit. Riddler, if I make him into Spike Shamir. That's awesome. I mean, I love the Professor. Very nice of him. All right, Surveilling. Yeah, we also have access to Solitude Ephemerate, of course, is good. I like if we draw a blue source, we can hold up Counterspell on turn 2, and then we can try to. Then if we miss our land, we can Quantum Riddler, and we still have a window to draw land for the Ephemerate. Ding, ding, ding. Thanks, Surveil Lands. I'm not like the biggest Surveil Land fan in the sense that I do think that they're kind of like too powerful. They make fetch lands too powerful, but I do think they make gameplay better. I don't know. I mixed feelings, but net positive. Nice. And we could maybe draw basic planes, so we'll just do this first. They could have a Solitude maybe, but we're up a card in that exchange, so that'd be okay. Let's be real, fetch lands are too powerful. This is just another drop in the ocean. I mean, it's way more than a drop. Like it was a huge buff to already the best cards in the format. But that is a way to think about it. Okay. Yeah, if we had drawn a blue card, then we could have Subtlety Solitude, which would have been so sick. But I don't know. This is insanely powerful to go from no board state to 4/6 flyer. Does not a fatal push. I do think I'll probably just cash in the Ephemerate Rebound for a card. Why did I only get the Twitch notification now for the stream? I don't know. I've been live for an hour. As far as I can tell, the Twitch notifications have never been super in my favor, let's say. Imagine playing this with Sapphire Medallion. One thing that kind of broke my heart about Sapphire Medallion is the understanding that Sapphire Medallion is mostly worse than a Talisman. Yeah, Quantum Riddler really good on mulligans too, for sure. I got the notification when you live. That's good. I mean, it does seem like some people get them, but it also feels like I don't know. There's definitely been like waves of people saying they don't get them. Wasn't supposed to be live just now. 1 hour ago, it's been live. All right, rebound the Ephemerate. Draw a card. Okay. Your turn. They have a Phelia. If they have a Phelia, they sure didn't main phase when I have Snare up. Yeah, they just play this tapped. Shadow Flame, tier 1 for 6 months in advance. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Thanks for supporting the stream. Is this an Overlord? It is an Overlord. Let's just take 4. We're going to start attacking them for 4. So we have Hardcast Solitude up now, and I'm kind of hoping that my opponent just tries to Flicker Wisp the Overlord and I can consign the return. Flame Knight, thank you for the 22 months. That you're doing well. Attack for 4 with our Elvish Visionary, 4 in the air. Alright, they have the Wisp, and we're going to get to use the Consign, it seems. Polar Bear with the Twitch Prime, hope you're doing well. There's also Solitude Ephemerate, but I think this is what we're supposed to use the Consign for. You could tell that they were ready for that. Hard to say no to a Solitude here. We have, this is for Prismatic Ending on 3 and for Sideboard Wear Tears. So very light splash. They chump block our Elvish Visionary. Solitude Replicate Consign. I kind of like just chilling and hardcasting, but you could. That wouldn't be that bad. They do keep a card on top. So if they just pass, it's a Solitude, I guess. A High Noon. Well, let's snare that. This might be bait for Phelia, but we can handle a Phelia pretty well. Great, so now we can hardcast Solitude and keep the Ephemerate, or the Cloudshift up. I think they're going to cast Phelia end of turn. Do I care a lot about trying to trade the Solitude for an Ephemerate on the other hand? I think that probably leads to bad things if they don't even have it. So they evoke a Solitude, they pitch a Flicker Wisp. We let the target happen, and then we Cloudshift, and then they're going to Ephemerate in response, and I'm going to Solitude in response. Maybe they Solitude in response. That's bait. That's bait. Oh wait, we can just take the bait though. That's fine. We get to draw more cards this way. So they're going to Ephemerate in response, and we just Solitude their Solitude. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't realize they stacked the triggers wrong. So I guess they just never had the Ephemerate. Okay, well, let's go to game 3. Junes, 20 months. Thank you so much. Welcome back, my friend. Thank you for supporting the stream. I also finally have an excuse to wear my space shirts that I got in Seattle. Where you consider warping cards with Ashnod's Intervention or Kaya's Ghost Form. Those are like phase out cards, right? No, Kaya's Ghost Form is weird. It's like an enchantment. I mean, I mostly think that the good enablers are the flicker cards, right? I don't know why we'd want to be doing that. Maybe I'm missing something. Have I seen the list that are this plus Helga? I'm not super interested in playing Helga over Ephemerate. Or I would say I'm even uninterested. I'm a little bit worried about Thoughtseize, but I also want to Surveil pretty badly. Fanatic with the 30 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, I think Ephemerate's way better than Helga, and I'm someone that's played a lot of... Oh, Helga! So, sorry, I always forget Helga and Karuga. Okay, we could keep that for Phelia, but we have Consign for Phelia, and we also are interested, of course, in hitting land drops. Helga could be good. Yeah, Helga, like, there could be, like, bans with, like, Helga. Maybe you could also play Fanatic of Ronus, Burly Ritual. There's like the Quantum Riddler is good with a ton of cards. It's kind of like the Control Corey Steelcutter, where it's like really good by itself and really good with a lot of cards in the format, and like potentially just like best in slot too. Okay, so we have Solitude Ephemerate up now. Would love to get to hardcast Subtlety territory. I'm going to try to do like 5-ish hours today. I would go longer, but then my whole schedule for the week gets all messed up because of the... I don't know why do they have to wait till noon to make the cards legal? Maybe there's like some kind of legal thing going on, but if I could start at 9 a.m., these first days would like be like 6 or 7, 8 hours instead of 5. What cards best to slot Riddler? Yeah, I think Riddler is just the best card draw spell in Modern. Or at least in blue. Could haste something? Yeah, we'll be doing longer streams this week. I don't know how long we'll go tomorrow. But like the nice thing about set release weeks is I've built the decks and I want to play them live on the stream for the first time, so I don't have to do any off-stream testing, just some more off-stream deck building, so I get to pull some of that time onto the stream. Right, they take the Cloudshift, so I guess we could scam with a Solitude potentially, but like we might get to replicate Consign and scam the Solitude and hit the Phelia trigger. All right, Pony, sure, going pretty slow. You're not gonna do anything in your attack step here, I think. They may play a Flage. They do nothing. So if I Prismatic Ending this Phelia, there's a good chance they're going to play a second Phelia. That's could be a little weird if I don't draw a land to keep up Replicate Consign. Okay, now I don't need to worry so much because I have the Solitude Ephemerate back available. It's because they're on the West Coast. I guess so. So they don't play another Phelia. They maybe like hardcast an Overlord. Okay, no. So they probably have hardcast Solitude available. We are missing our lands, kind of classic blue-white issues. In theory, 4 Consult the Star Charts helps a little bit with this issue. Think Cosmogoyf Analyze the Pollen has a chance? Maybe. I did forget about Analyze the Pollen. Could be good. I definitely like the thought. Tap land. They're not going to commit anything else to the board, are they? I need to draw something else. Alright, that's something else. Yeah, Pledge. Yeah, there's a lot with Cosmic Wave. I've got a Jund build. I might add Analyze the Pollen to it. I think it's a good idea. Lounging Wizard for tier 1 for 6 months advance. That's an awesome symbol. Could not support the stream without your loyal subscriptions, y'all. Thank you so much. They take the Solitude. I think that makes sense. They play a Godless Shrine tapped. I think I'm probably going to run this Subtlety out end of turn. They've got 2 cards in their hand. They don't have Revolt, so it's kind of... I guess they could have another hardcast Solitude. That would be really bad if they had another hardcast Solitude. So I think we wait 1 turn so we could try to have mana up. Maybe waiting too long. So we're probably going to Subtlety this at least twice. Interesting, no attack. They don't have another Solitude? I feel like they would have played it while I was tapped out. I think I want to use Ephemerate here. Since I have 2 of them. And they definitely have another 5-drop in their hand. They do put something else back on top. Can't Spell Snare that, by the way. It's so weird. Could have also let that resolve, maybe. Might let it resolve next turn. Yeah, let's keep up Subtlety plus another Ephemerate, maybe. Although I'm kind of, again, interested in just letting the Overlord resolve if they're impending it. Yeah. Could consign this trigger. They have no creatures. I think I'm going to see what we get. Bowmaster Emperor. Okay, so we could just snare that. Or either. They do choose Emperor of Bones. Do I want to Subtlety this? I think the thing is they just do have another big thing in their hand, but they probably put the Emperor back on top. So I think that probably lines up good for me. And this also lets me start attacking for 3. That's more mana efficient. All that good stuff. They also might have a Wisp, but they should know about my Consign. Yeah, this is our first league. They put the Emperor on the bottom. It's interesting. Would not have expected them to do that. Now they decide it's time to offer this trade. I don't really understand that. I don't know, like, why... What's changed, you know? Oh, Fatal Push is what's changed. Huh. Okay. It's pretty bad. Okay, well, I don't have anything going on. Let's see if they do have like another Overlord in their hand, red or black. Okay, they don't. Down to 3. All right, we'll plan to kick this. No Ephemerate to save the Subtlety. I don't think it's worth it, because then you just have a random S3/3, and I want to be able to draw Quantum Riddler and Ephemerate it. Right? Doesn't that make more sense? So Flage. I guess we let the first part resolve. So I am down to 6. They do decide to go for it. So I've got 6 looks at a Solitude, Counterspell, Subtlety, or Counterspell, Solitude, Subtlety. Be worth double consigning? I don't think so. We're still dead to the Flage Escape if we consign. And then we can't find a counterspell here. Consigning the sack would be a sweet play. I guess so. I do miss. Consign both. I don't know. Maybe that was good. I feel like I just had so many hits. Okay, I did find one of them. We haven't seen a Quantum Riddler yet. We just bought a lot of non-Quantum Riddler, non-Consult the Star Chart cards. I guess we just did grab one Consult. We only have 2 Solitudes left. This is ticking down, though. Subtlety is not a bad draw. Dealing with this is going to be potentially difficult. Guess we can do the Consign line next turn. Let's probably use the Subtlety now. At 35, huh? This comes online next turn. Doesn't attack next turn, though. Alright, so let's plan to kick that, replicate Consign on the Flage, or Ephemerate. I think we do the replicate Consign thing. I think that's pretty cool. I feel like this deck applies negative pressure if there's no big Sphinx in play. You ever played a control deck before? Your control deck does not do a lot without its win condition in play. They tap wrong, didn't have escape mana. I think it's just better to get it exiled, even though they didn't have escape mana. Like it's better to get this exiled than like leave it in the yard with have like and then you have to have a consign, either you're dead, otherwise you're dead, right? Or a counterspell. I think we keep up the consults. Okay, they have a push. That's good. Maybe I do warp this. So cast it for just 2, I think. Okay, do find a counterspell. Yeah, I've actually seen K-pop Demon Hunters twice. It's pretty good. Yeah, Consult's been looking pretty good so far. I think I warped this. Just want to see more cards. Okay, then I guess I just cast it next turn. I don't think I need to be in a big rush here. Favorite song? I think Golden's the best one. Not the most exciting answer, but that is my answer. Maybe playing that's unnecessary. I don't think I'm offering the trade because I think I need to keep the Ephemerate as a Swords to Plowshares for a little bit. Caustic with the 40 months. Thank you. Welcome back. They took that down to 4. Okay, drawing Counterspell. I should be... Yeah, I should be good to play this. Ephemerated into play. Might have been better just cast it. Never mind. I guess we had to draw the Quantum Riddler sometime, huh? Is Consult better for the control deck than Stock Up and Surge? I think so, yeah. That's my current impression. It's been really good here. This build is a little bit different than your normal control deck, although I do have a more normal control deck built that we could play at some point. I mean, they're at 36, but, you know, we've got 12 points of flying in the air. That's just a 3-turn clock. We'll kill them before the Overlord comes down if I don't rebound the Ephemerate. I'm going to draw a card. All right. Going to be tough to lose this one. They exile a Witch Enchanter. Alright, 2 and 1. A lot of stuff. Alright, let's keep this. I'm going to Surveil on turn 1. My opponent has Devourer of Destinied. How do these feel? Not good. So taking a rest day. I've been doing a lot more. Like, this is my I haven't ran in a while. I've been doing a lot of bike. I've been doing a lot of Stairmaster. I've been doing elliptical. I've been doing a little bit of swimming, not a lot of swimming. This is my first day, like, running a mile in a long time, and my knees feel awful, so I might just not. I don't know how you manage to brew decks, work in a game right at the same time without getting creatively burned out. I don't know. I just am really, like, obsessed with all of these things right now. So they imprinted All Is Dust, and then they Chalice on 1. Well, that's a bit annoying. So we're going to try to set up for a Witch Enchanter on the Chalice, potentially. We might just pitch this to Solitude, though. Bonaparte, 60 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I'm actually going to counterspell this. I know it's a little weird, but there's a very good chance this just means they can't cast Sowing Mycospawn, because it seems like their build is maybe a little bit more all-in on being colorless, and these builds can be a little bit weak to removing their green mana. Yeah, so I think we'll try to go Consult into another land, and then Witch Enchanter the Chalice, and then go Riddler Ephemerate. If they Thought Not Seer me, if they Thought Not Seer, I don't think I'm going to respond to the trigger with the Solitude. And so they main phase this. Well, if I found a Force of Negation, I guess I wouldn't pitch. So we'll just let that resolve. How does Warp work? So Warp is kind of like a mix of Evoke and Adventure. So you Warp it, and then it stays in play, and then it gets exiled at the end of your turn. And then you can cast it from your exile at any point later in the game, kind of like Adventure. So it's like a weird hybrid of the two mechanics. I think Skyclave's a bit better than land here. Can you Warp Chain? What does that mean? I do think Riddler is the best card in the set, but there are a lot of good cards in the set. So far, Consult has also been good. Consult the star charts. Right, so I do think they're going to kick a Mycospawn here. I'm pretty interested in evoking Solitude so that I can draw a bunch of cards, although they're casting Thought Not Seer instead. So they're going to take my Quantum Riddler, I suppose. And I guess I probably Ephemerate, exile Talisman, then exile the Seer. Oh, they took the Solitude. Well, let's fucking go. Great. All right, so I think I'm going to go Archive. I can't quite ending the Talisman. I could ending maybe a token this turn. Let's not. I'm going to respond to the ETB effect with an Ephemerate, so I get to draw an extra card. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, if I Ephemerate the Skyclave, it makes the token a 0/0. I do have a Rebound Ephemerate coming, so can look at that. They are playing the Tron build. So they have 9 mana available, right? Maybe they have like Devour of Destiny that they revealed earlier. And just Ephemerate the Riddler. I definitely need to get aggressive. I'll take 4 here. They just don't attack. Let's go. Oh, sorry, I just have the 4/6 done. So let's first Skyclave the Seer and draw a card off that, and then see what we draw. Yeah, I'm gonna draw another card here. I know I want to get aggressive, but I also need to keep some interaction coming here. Although, yeah, this is pretty good. Yeah, I think I want to be able to go Consult into a Counterspell, so I'm not going to play my Surveil land. I'm just going to pass. We could maybe double block the Devourer also. I think I'm more likely to want to take 6. Let me Force of Negation. Yeah, let's take 6 this time, down to 11. They have 1 card in their hand. Having a plan for the All is Dust does seem important. So we could take the Counterspell and then another Riddler. Yeah, I think I just hardcast a Riddler. And then I could attack with my Skyclave if I wanted to. I could also just double block, but it's an interesting draw. Yeah, we could take 6 more. It might be a little weird. They don't block. Is there a big difference between them being at 14 and 12? I guess not that big a difference. If I had 1 more mana, I could block and Cloudshift pretty comfortable. So they have 2 cards in their hand. They're just passing, so maybe they have the K command. Okay, so now I have Force of Negation for K command, and then it's just Counterspell up for whatever, but maybe the All is Dust. There's a Sink. Do I want to draw a Sink? Not really. Yeah, I know I could Ephemerate the Riddler and then block. I don't know if that's something I'm really interested in. I'm a bit interested in, like, because like if they don't chump block, then they go down to 6. Wait, hold on. Sorry. Oh, that's right. I can just chump with the Skyclave and then kill them with the Riddlers next turn. So far, chat's review of this card has been mostly better than Elvish Visionary. Definitely worse than Black Overlord. I think the card's great, though. Would have no hope of winning game 1 against Eldrazi without a card like this. Any reason you're on Cloudshift over Essence Flux? Yeah, I know there's the Skyclave aspect I hadn't really considered. It's like white card, like white card versus blue. I don't know. It's not gonna be a big deal, but yeah, maybe Essence Flux is marginally better because you have a couple Skyclaves. World, you could play white or blue shoal. I mean, maybe. Not impossible. All right, that's what we wanted to see. I said this in my set review, but modern players just see 4/6 flyer and it just glazes over. Like modern players, I do think are really conditioned to not see the stats on creatures because removal is so efficient. But 5 mana 4/6 flyer, modern is just not equipped to deal with these with the size creature very well. It's kind of funny to think about. I do like Force a lot more against the Tron builds than the non-Tron builds. The Dingo likes Wear Tear a lot against these builds too. Kind of better than Prismatic Ending. Just get the instant speed, although harder to cast. This is better against map, actually. I do hate Subtlety against them. They go down to like 2 Solitudes. Maybe 3, since let's see here. Let's do 3. Yeah, game 1 win is pretty big. I don't think they're playing Rumble, so I think it would go down to like 1 or 0 Snare. Probably 0. First trip to cover Emrakul. It's just still pretty castable. Is the problem with that. Yeah, I think I want all 4 endings of the draw for map. And obviously the talismans too. I have thought about Soul Herder, yeah. Soul Herder being blue and white to pitch is pretty relevant. It is possible that Soul Herder makes its way into these lists. Do you think Modern is under-equipped for it in the current meta, or do you think the efficient answers are unplayable outside of the narrow context? Well, it's like you have to play all these like Fatal Pushes and Galvanic Discharge and like Lightning Bolts and like the cheap removal to kill the little creatures out of Boros. And because the format is all little removal to kill creatures out of Boros, stuff like Overlord and Riddler just are like so hard to deal with. They're so much bigger than everything, and the removal spells don't kill them. But that's not really the fault of... I think I'm forcing that. That's not really the fault of the removal spells. It's just the nature of the format. There are efficient answers to it, but it's just not what you commonly play, of course. All right, I think I'm gonna not. Oh, we can also consign the Riddler maybe if we just want pressure in play. It seems like we probably don't want to do that though. I think we have to counter this, but it seems okay too. If I draw an Ephemerate, what am I going to do? Okay. Don't have to cross that bridge right now. Alright, I guess no Tron for you. Kind of love for them to have another one for me to Prismatic Ending. I guess I could bolt in the Witch Enchanter to draw Counterspell, but I could also draw a Surveil Land. Okay, my hand's not great. It's hopefully theirs isn't either. Obviously we have these two, so like we have a lot of good lands to draw and some good spells to draw too. They might be cut off of green mana as well. Karn is really bad for me. They get Expedition Map from the Exile Zone. It's pretty good. Good choice. You can't warp for 2 colors. Yeah, it's a blue and 1. If you're Hellbent with 2 Riddlers, you draw 3. Yes, that did happen already, actually. So they play their lands. It's interesting. They might get a bridge. We don't have our red source for ending X equals 3 yet. We might get to Prismatic Ending the map, though, if they tap out for bridge. How would you be able to hold up Counterspell by bolting in the Witch Enchantress on that turn? Oh, sorry, you're right. I couldn't have done that. You're locked in, huh? They get a Trinisphere. It's an interesting choice. So we get to kill Karn. We could spend 3 mana on this. Let's see what we draw. Interesting draw. So Karn down. We've somehow been lucky enough to deny them Tron. They have 7 Eldrazi, or 9 mana for Eldrazi, 6 mana for anything else. They devour my Riddler. So 1 mana short of Prismatic Ending the Trinisphere and casting Riddler and flickering it. And casting Solitude and Flicker. I think I'll just cast the Solitude. Did a counter on the Phelia. Yeah, I thought about playing some Teferis. So obviously the first draft of Sideboard's just not going to be super hammered out. They got 2 cards in their hand. They are 1 short of Emrakul if they have Emrakul, right? They should have 10 mana for Emrakul, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and Emrakul costs 12 right now. Seer? Thought on Seer would be fine. No, this is Myco Spawn. Do you have a hammer with Domination Bracelet? I don't think Domination Bracelet's playable, unfortunately. It'll be really cool when you get to do the thing, but it just seems incredibly win more. I kind of liked Riddler and attack with Phelia and Flicker Devourer. Maybe, yeah. Could be fine. They do get Tron online. Can they also Emrakul me here? No. So it's Sire of the Seven Deaths. So I can deal with that. I can deal with that by targeting the Solitude, and I take 7 down to 6, and then this dies. It's not so bad. They have no cards in their hand either. Yeah, I think this turn, let's just go Prismatic Ending and then hold up Hardcast Force instead of casting the Riddler. Not really so bad, though. So we're at 6. They're at 38. No big deal. We have a Force of Negation for their top deck Karn. No, it's Sire. All is Dust. Okay, for their top deck All is Dust, I will force this. Will they offer the trade? They probably should. Oh no, I guess my attack would be kind of too good then, huh? Okay, so riddle me this, Eldrazi. Yeah, I think I just want to attack and trade. They have no cards in their hand. Maybe they'll even brick on a draw. When I flicker this, I'm going to draw 2 cards, by the way. Nice. So draw 2. And I don't think we try to jump through a lot of hoops to go down here. They're at 38. We'll get that dealt with eventually. Let's just draw another card. Trying to find a Consign. Okay, there's a Consign. What do you think? I want to get the cards out of my hand. Hey, Athena. Consign. Consult. Consult, hold priority. Oh, I missed it, I guess. Oopsie. I think we'll be okay. Okay, maybe it's just good to save these for scamming. Like, I might scam double Riddler next turn. Consult has also looked really good today, by the way. Oh, whoops. So there's another Riddler and a Counterspell. So I think I want to keep my Consigns and go Cloudshift Counterspell. Has a Consign look great since printing? Of course. Of course. I feel very confident something out of Eldrazi would have been banned if Consign had not been printed. I think most people feel that way. The set is live for everyone now. I just have access to them from the Daybreak account. But there's drafts live now. You can start. They'll start trickling in. Chance of milling. It's 4/6 flyers are just so big. I know that modern gamers don't know how big a 4/6 flyer is, but it's 3 of them and just kill your opponent real quick. The modern mind cannot comprehend a 4/6 flyer. So at 26, hardcast the Solitude to make this a 2-turn clock. We lost to Hollow One. Or, sorry, it wasn't Hollow One. It was like Rakdos Reanimator. We just kind of got screwed into Flooded. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. First modern content video. Nice. They're just saying something nice. So we're probably playing against some new cards here. Yeah, I have 9 decks built and I have a few more on the way. I guess just putting Cosmic Grand Zenith and the based Boros seems like a good spot. So we have Solitude, Ephemerate. We're on the draw. We also have Consult. We have a Surveil Land maybe. The Force of Negation. I'm going to keep this on the draw. Playing Belcher? Yeah, we need some mana. 2 more looks. No, this is still our first league. I know we booted up with a slow one at first. Only got started 2 hours ago because that's when the cards dropped. Okay, so consult the star charts in Belcher. Interesting. That's an idea for sure. Could this deck play Clarion? Yeah, I thought about Clarion Conqueror. I feel like the card is maybe a little over sideboarded. It's like mostly good against Brood Scale, but I do lose to Brood Scale a lot. But I feel I have all these consigns and wear tears, right? Like, I don't know. It feels like I just want to play wear tear and consign. That's pretty good. Do find another land at least. Love to draw a Riddler, but obviously my very removal heavy hand bad against Belcher. Tap land. Clarion decent against Affinity. I mean it's good against Affinity, but I just don't know how much that matters, I guess. So that means our opponent has a flare, so if they like tap out for Belcher, we'll Solitude this before we counterspell it. I almost think we should have Solitude Ephemerate turn 1. The thing is the Solitude is so important against Tamashi, but I don't hate the thought. If they flare this, that's like totally fine. Okay, 3 cards in their hand. Oh, sorry. I don't know why. I don't need to do this now because they could just hardcast the flare that they have. Maybe I should have cloud shifted, but I'm just thinking, do I trade the Riddler for the counterspell? I think no. So probably should have cloud shifted. Clarion Conqueror good in this matchup. Yeah, it's just Ephemerate number 5, which is something I think the deck's interested in. It's something we have done before in a couple different shells. Okay, I'm kind of interested now in them tapping out for a Belcher because I can untap and Skyclave it. So now they're going to counter this instead, which is, I guess, good. Oh, they just let it resolve. Interesting. I don't think I'm going to want to hold up the Ephemerate this turn. Spiff with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Spiff with the Twitch Prime. Thank you. Welcome back. Is Ephemerate the best unbanned MH1 card? It might be now. My opponent reveals consult the star charts off of their Waterlogged teachings. That's pretty interesting. No, yeah, Saga's MH2. I'd probably put Ephemerate over Renin 6. So I have 3 counterspells up if I draw a blue card off the Ephemerate. Oh, Force of Negation is the best one, yeah. Good play to do this now, because I kind of want to Ephemerate to see if I draw the blue card. I think I'll just go ahead and cast Counterspell here, though. And then we can let the Lotus resolve. Okay, that's also super fine. So if I go Riddler Ephemerate, I'm really weak to Tamashi if I don't Force of Negation the Bloom. So I guess I could just Force of Negation the Bloom, and then if they have Belcher, I can Skyclave it. I wonder if there's anything I draw that, like, I mean, would I do something else if I drew a Snare? I don't think so. All right, so we're going to force the Bloom so that if they do have Tamashi, then we get to kind of negate that. If their last 2 cards are like were Tamashi, good beats, I guess. I do kind of think their hand is like Flare Belcher. And I can just Skyclave the Belcher. Nice. Let's draw another card. Oh yeah, I'm not sure where the Storm Count thing came from. I don't think I have any Storm cards in my 75. But I don't think it usually shows up until like a Storm card becomes relevant, right? So last card, not a Scalding. So if they have another Belcher, we could just Ephemerate the Skyclave. Yeah, maybe Essence Flux is better than Cloudshift. It's so minor, I don't really care to talk about it that much, but it's kind of nice that all your Flicker cards cost the same color a little bit. So minor, though. Does it mean they have Flusterstorm in hand? I don't think it should. Like, I think this isn't supposed to show up with any kind of, like, info until like, we have the info, too, but maybe it doesn't function that way in practice. I think I'm supposed to let that resolve. Cloudshift is still better because it's pitched for Solitude. Yeah, we also have blue pitches, so it's just so close. I don't know. It shows up when Storm card is in hand. Interesting. It'd be really weird if they had main deck Flusterstorm, though. Might as well shock. My lifetime doesn't matter. I get to see a lot of cards here. So we can Ephemerate this end of turn, hit them for 2 down to 7. Oh, then we don't have lethal in the backswing. Ooh, Amphibian Downpour is a really good guess. So if they don't play a land this turn, if we hit them for 6, they can't Belcher activate, which is something. They're just passing. Yeah, I think hitting them so they can't go Belcher activate in one go is pretty important. Yeah, I was trying to play Amphibian Downpour with like the Eerie 2-3 for a little while. Okay, so they're going to whir for a Lotus. So if I upkeep Ephemerate on the Bloom, that's better against them having Belcher. It's worse against them having Tamashi because they have the white source here off the Orderly Plaza. Although they can't go. It's gonna be really hard for them to counter my counter. So they need like exactly Spell Snare because they can't go like they can't play a land, so they can't go Tamashi counter then activate. So I think this is fine. We just exile Tamashi. Well, it's like a little. It's a little reductive because they get to draw a card, and they like might have the extra mana to like do both. So right now they are a mana short of belching me. That's good. They're a mana short of Tamashi, like 3 mana counterspell my counterspell, and then fight back. Okay, so winning game 1 is great. Winning game 1 is really, really good. Let's bring in the 4th copy of Force. Let's bring in all of the consigns. Let's bring in the Deafening Silence. It's got all the copies of Prismatic Ending. The Skyclaves were pretty good that game. I don't know if I want them. I want to cut the Subtlety, I think. Just like this. Crazy VV made no waves of modern. It made minor waves. Good way, like one rest in peace. Don't like tapping out for it that much. This looks fine, I think. I don't think I want Wear Tear. I think the Skyclaves. I like that this can get Tamashi and they're like little creatures. This seems fine. Like, VV top 8 did like enough modern challenges to say that it made some splash. Just so weak to the high noons that people started playing. Why Shoulder is 3 mana for 3 mana? I don't know. Wear Tear for defense grid. That could be good. Wear Tear for defense grid, yeah. Yeah, sometimes hitting like Upkeep Lotus is good. Yeah, it might be better than the Skyclaves. Skyclave also hits defense grid. Yeah, the Skyclaves played really good there. Alright, so our opponent has a podcast called Battle Chads. We're a part of the Chad Magic channel, sponsored by Astro Basic Q. Cool. Hell yeah. Battle Chads, a pretty good name. I guess we keep that because it just lets me fire one off. It's a bit awkward because I'd love to Riddler Ephemerate next turn, but they're going to maybe have Belcher available with this Lotus Bloom. So we're looking for, you know, counter magic. Not the most complicated. There's a Consign. So this surprised at least one Shatter last time I did it, but I think I will snare this. What you want to do is you want to consign the rebound here, or sorry, not the rebound, the cast of the Lotus Bloom. I'm going to replicate too. And this stops them from putting it in the graveyard. So if you cast the sorry, not the cast. If you counted this suspend trigger. I guess it's confusing because I can't articulate this. You counted the suspend trigger so it stays in exile, and this way Tamashi never does anything. All right, got through that. They do have an untapped land. Do they just slam a Belcher here? They do not. Maybe you're going to kick a Consult the Star Charts? I think it's safe enough to do this. If I drew like a Counterspell, I don't think I'd Ephemerate because I have another one, but we'll just go for the Ephemerate. If they counter this, we don't care. They bounce the Riddler. That is super okay. Again, it's bad if they just tap out for the Belcher, but they didn't do that last turn, and we're in a pretty similar spot. We get like 5 looks at a Skyclave off this, maybe. They play basic Mountain, so they're worried about getting like Cleansing Wildfire, I guess. It's good to know about. We could just tap out for a Riddler. I think I'm interested in at least representing that I've got a lot of stuff. I'm like kicking this into turn instead. Maybe I could kick this now, because I'm so worried about Spell Snare. If I spend 4 mana, they spend Snare. Good if I could Consign or Force. You got like a lot of looks at those. I don't think they're that likely to have Force. They could have Shoal, but hard to play against Shoal. They do have Force. They pitch Flusterstorm. Okay. 3 cards in their hand. Gotta pause like I've got Consign. Tap land. 3 cards in their hand. They're 1 land away from untapped land from Belcher plus activate. Come on, Consign, Force of Negation. Okay, well, that's at least an answer to a Belcher, maybe. Can cast those later, of course. Have another Consult. Consult's looking so good on both sides of the table. 3 cards in their hand. They just passed. They might have a Whir. Okay, so I think we're going to try to kick a Consult. Huh, they've just cast like so much card selection. They don't seem to have any payoffs. All right, do you want to get owned by Spell Snare? They probably have something. It's not that different if it's like that. Oh, it immediately resolved. Let's go. All right, let's take a blue card for the Force because I probably just want to tap out for a Riddler now. Nice, great draw. Riddler is nuts. I don't know if y'all are sold on it. I'm sold on it after this league. It's about as good as I thought it was, and I thought it would be very, very good. So they wake up with a Whir. I don't think I want to counter back because I think it's so likely that if they don't have anything, then that's fine. But if they have a if they get to counter using this mana untap, it's so likely I die compared to me being able to fight twice on their turn. Yeah, the energy shell is cool too. I mean, we have a lot of cards. I don't want to only play Riddler decks today because there's so much to get to, but we'll definitely play more of this shell. This might be our challenge deck. So I'll probably just cast the Witch Enchanter, and then I can hold up a ton of stuff. Maybe this is a little weak against Thomas Yeh. I mean, I have Counterspell Force up for it. Yeah, I'm going to try to go for 5-ish hours today, give or take. I don't like to go super duper long on set release day because I have to start later, and then if I start later and I go into the evening, then my whole like schedule's all messed up, and I've been waking up at like 6 a.m. to go work out, and I want to keep that going. Shoal X equals 4. Okay, sure. Boros improves something with Edge. There's not a lot. There's a card that works with like the Steel Cutter build of Boros we were playing last week, but as far as traditional Boros, no, there's not really anything super big. Okay, so they can go 3, 4. Yeah, if I bounce this and they were for a Belcher in response, I guess we do get got. On the face of the 2 years. Happy anniversary. Welcome back, my friend. It's a long time. Think you need to cut one cut for one Lord Revealed needs more lands. So you want a 25th land? I feel like it's pretty high. That might be right though. I definitely don't hate the thought. I guess I'm getting owned. Okay. Athena, what do you want? Miso Soup with the 9 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Did we gloss over the Basking Mountain? No, this is a pretty common sideboard card out of Belcher. I guess I go Consign plus Consign because they have another Belcher. I want them to cast it. I'd also love for them to sack this to use a counter spell, right? Hold on, let me see if Esther can take Athena outside. Okay, so mission accomplished there. Why Cloudshift over Ephemerate? We have 4 Ephemerates in the deck, and Cloudshift is the 5th copy. Untap land here, so they're just dead on board. Alright, GG's. So it got some like mana flood, mana screw round 1, but we literally just cruised over all of our opponents the rest of the league. Beat combo, big mana, mid range. Feels pretty good. A good start for our Edge of Eternity brewing. What do we play next? That was so fun. I think we should play a Pinnacle Emissary deck. Let's do... I've got 2 different builds. I have Is...